Biographical criticism is a literary analysis in which an author's life and background connection between characteristics that originated from the author's experiences. This type of critique focuses on personal factors such as marriages, family funerals, health issues, and traumatic occurrences, as well as the author's generation, economic standing, and a degree of education. There are many additional things to consider, but for now, we'll concentrate on the great author Francis Scott Fitzgerald's generation, economics, education, and marriage.
To use a biographical approach in literary criticism, you need to learn about the writer's biography or life story, research facts about the writer, including interviews, quotations, heritage, background, traditions, attitudes, and beliefs. Here are some tips for using a biographical approach in literary criticism. 1. Do not assume that a fictional character, especially one who narrates the story and speaks as I, is the writer. 2. Check a biography. When you wonder if something in a work reflects the writer's heritage or background, check a biography of the writer to be sure your hunch is correct. 3. Be specific in citing connections between the work and the writer's life. Don't assume that because the main characters in the writer's work tend to be rebels or outsiders, the writer must be a rebel. Sometimes, writers like to write about the kind of people they wish they had been. And number 4, do not ignore the part played by the writer's imagination. Do not assume that every realistic details in the story is based on fact. A good writer doesn't have to be a man in order to write about male characters, nor a police officer to write about crime.
To begin, well, look at Fitzgerald's youth through the lens of one of his works, The Great Gatsby. Fitzgerald came from a lower-class family and grew up in a humble home. This is similar to Gatsby's experience growing up with a father figure who struggled to make ends meet. Fitzgerald and Gatsby both dropped out of college and enlisted in the military.
3rd Division during the war? Oh, yes, the 9th Battalion.
I was in the 7th.
Excuse me.
I knew you looked familiar. Having a good time, old
Oh,
sport?
the whole thing's incredible. I live just next door. He sent me an actual invitation. Seems I'm the only one. I still haven't met Mr. Gatsby.
No one's met him. They say he's third cousin to the Kaiser and second cousin to the devil.
I'm afraid I haven't been a very good host, old sport. You see, I'm Gatsby.
Fitzgerald also uses his background in the story by saying Nick Carraway came from Minnesota, which happens to be where Fitzgerald is from. Fitzgerald and Nick Carraway also both attended an Ivy League, Nick Carraway going to Yale University while Fitzgerald went to Princeton University, although they both went to an Ivy League, then ended up dropping out and going to the military.
Scotty Fitzgerald grew up amid the Roaring Twenties, which plays an important role in The Great Gatsby. Because the 1920s were such a wild era, the novel has several parties throughout the plot. Fitzgerald's most significant life events occurred in the 1920s, including his marriage to Zelda and the birth of Scotty Fitzgerald, and the publishing of The Beautiful and Dumb and The Great Gatsby.
Let's take a moment to think about this. Consider a recent work of literature that you enjoyed. Do you have any information about the author? Have you examined the author's connection with his parents? And what about his siblings? What about extended family members? Were there any notable acquaintances or pals in the author's life as well? Have you considered what inspired them to create and publish their works? Were there any noteworthy incidents that may have had an impact on their lives? This kind of inquiries might assist you in constructing your response to a biographical critic prompt.